Alright, what's up everybody? Jusky here, and I'm actually currently downloading the PTR for Diablo 3 for patch 2.0.1. This is the PTR that was released alongside the closed beta of Reaper of Souls, and Blizzard said that they're having a very limited selection of people that they're selecting for the Reaper of Souls closed beta. And I'm sure more waves will be coming out in the future before the closed beta is finished, and hopefully I will be one of the lucky few that are selected to beta test Reaper of Souls. However, right now the PTR is public, so everyone's free to download the PTR and try out patch 2.0.1, which is the pre-patch for Reaper of Souls. Now this has a lot of the features that Reaper of Souls has, except for the specific expansion features, meaning the Mystic is specific to Reaper of Souls, so the Mystic will not be in patch 2.0.1. Also, the level cap to 70, so going from past level 60 up to 70, and the new skills that you get along the way, they're all expansion features, so I will not be able to get past level 60. However, Paragon 2.0 and Loot 2.0 are in this patch. So Paragon is now account-wide, which means as soon as I'm able to start playing again, I'll be able to go right on my wizard, and who I haven't played in a long time because he's been Paragon level 100 for a while, and he was capped out at that. Well, now the Paragon is unlimited, so I can go back on my wizard, actually play on him again, gain experience, and continue to level up my account-wide Paragon. So that's exciting. I can't wait to go back and play on wizard again, especially with all the new wizard changes, but we'll get into those in just a bit. Where was I going with that? Yeah, so Paragon 2.0 is in this patch. Loot 2.0 is in this patch, which means every item has been reworked. There are now primary and secondary stats on items instead of just having a list of stats on whatever item it is that you're looking at. You now have the primary, which consists of main stats like strength, dexterity, intelligence, and strength, dexterity, intelligence, and vitality, sorry. And also another, I think, at least in the Friends and Family beta for Reaper of Souls, movement speed was also considered a main stat, a primary stat. So we have strength, dexterity, intelligence, vitality, movement speed. I think sockets are considered primary stats. What else would be a primary stat? Life percent is a primary stat, and all resistance is a primary stat. If I'm missing a few, then we'll try to catch on to those later on. And then you have secondary stats like gold pickup radius, magic find, specific resistances like fire resist, arcane resist, poison resist. Those are all secondary stats, and the game has broken down every single rare and legendary item into those primary and secondary stats. And not to mention, all the legendary items have been reworked as well. So every single legendary in the game has been redone. They now have smart drops on them, rares and legendaries. So whatever class you're playing, the items that drop for you will have a higher chance to roll the main stat of the class that you're currently playing. So in other words, if I'm playing a wizard, I'm going to get mainly intelligence on my drops. If I'm playing, a barbarian, for example, I'm mainly going to get strength. So that's the new smart drop system. And also, legendaries can roll at any level now, which means legendaries that were previously only level 60 plus can now drop at any level. So, for example, ice climbers were a pair of legendary boots that were item level 63. You can now get a pair of level 18 ice climbers if you're leveling up, for example, and you're level 18. Then that means the monsters are also level 18. So any loot that the monsters drop that you kill is going to match your level. And like I said, legendaries can drop at any level. So I can find a level 18 pair of ice climbers. I can find a level 63 version of, let's say, Leoric Signet, which was previously only a level 14 ring. I can find a level 25 Mempo of Twilight. It's anything. These examples are just to explain that any legendary can drop at any level now, which also is a cool thing because earlier legendaries, like early game legendaries that were previously only usable for maybe 1 or 2 levels until you leveled up to a higher level and immediately replaced them, they can now drop at the end game. So boots like Bojanglers, for example, They were, I don't know, I think they were like a level 12 or something around there. They can be level 63 now, or even level 70 in Reaper of Souls. And those boots can be end game boots. I don't know what else. Things that you previously were only able to get, like I already said, Leoric Signet. Leoric Signet was an early game ring. You can now find a level 70 version of that, or in my case on the PTR, a level 63 version of a Leoric Signet. And this opens up so many possibilities for different build combinations with legendaries that were previously inaccessible to late game characters. So I'm really excited to jump in and see all the new legendaries that you can find at higher levels, since as soon as I start playing here, I'll be level 60 on my wizard still. And I'll be able to get legendaries at level 60 or 63 even, 60 to 63. So I'm excited to check that out. I'm not quite sure if the new legendaries, as a matter of fact, yes I am, as I say it now I'm thinking, the new legendaries that came out for Reaper of Souls, they're not going to be on this patch because they're considered expansion content. So many of the new legendaries that we've seen, I'm sure you guys may have seen on streams so far for people who have the Friends and Family beta, things like the Thorns set, or the Oxen set for Barbarians, or some of the other items like the Ring of Royal Grandeur, the Wordward Ring, I don't know, so many different things, new weapons, new like the Wand of Woe for wizards, just all these different items, legendaries that came out for Reaper of Souls. We're not going to see them in the PTR of patch 2.0.1 because they're considered expansion content. I already mentioned her previous, but the Mystic, she's only expansion content. I won't be able to test out the transmogrification, unfortunately, which I would love to do. I'm actually a stickler for visual appearances, and I kind of like that. Like, I like the cosmetics and actually making my character look cool. I know a lot of people aren't interested in that. They just want, the best items, and whatever they look like is fine with them. But I actually was one of the proponents for trying to get the dyes being able to work on legendary items. As we all know, up until now, dyes were not able to be applied to legendaries, and I actually made a post on the forums about this way back with patch 1.0.7, I think it was, and I asked, are the legendary dyes available yet, for legendary items, and we got a blue response saying that no, that the artists are still working on retexturing all the legendaries. It's a taxing job, and they have to go through and reapply textures to every legendary item, and it takes a while. And I was a big proponent of this all along because I want to be able to dye legendaries any color that we want. Like, let's say you find a really good Zunimasa's chest, for example, for your wizard, and you put it on, and it's a white robe. Well, what if I want to wear a black robe, or if I want to wear a green robe? I want to be able to have the option to do that. And up until now, we haven't had that option. But with the Mystic, we now have the ability to transmogrify our items into any other item that is unlocked as you level up the Mystic, or into another legendary item that you can find. As soon as you find a legendary item, it unlocks it for transmogrification on your account. So now we can make our characters look however we want to without sacrificing the power of and the stats of whatever item we're wearing, which is really cool. That's what I wanted all along, and I can't wait to try that out in Reaper of Souls. But like I said, sadly it's not on the PTR right now, so we'll have to wait a little bit while longer before I can try that out. But without me rambling on more and more, let's just jump over into the patch notes here. As you can see, we still have a bit to go until I get to that little playable mark, so we'll let that keep going. But in the meantime, let's check the patch notes, and I'll instead of me just rambling on about it, we'll actually see what they have to say. Alright, patch 2.0.1 PTR now available. Yes, blah blah blah, we did all this, and here we are, patch features. Okay, so the first thing that they cover are clans and communities. To better enable players to find and play with others who share similar interests, 2 new social features have been added to Diablo 3, clans and communities. So, this is something that we've seen already in the Friends and Family beta of Reaper of Souls. People are now able to create their own clan or join a previously created clan. This is really an awesome feature, and I'm glad to see that this is also in the patch 2.0.1, that it's not only a Reaper of Souls exclusive. Clans are an awesome feature. I I think it opens it up socially. I think that the community is going to be more tightly knit now in Diablo 3. Previously all we had really were the forums and different third-party sites like Diablo fans or Diablo Inc. gamers to talk to one another and share our experiences in Diablo 3, talk about items that we've collected, and show off our gear. We've only been able to do that really through forums or on the web. Now we actually have an in-game option to really connect with one another as we play. So let's say, for example, I have a group of friends that I regularly play with. Instead of relying on the forums all the time, or checking the Battle.net website to check out the gear that they have, and going to the friends list and opening up their profile and clicking on hero and inspecting and all that, I actually have one place now where all of my friends can be in a central location, and you can actually see the little avatars, kind of like Diablo 2 style, where they're all across the bottom of the screen. And what they currently look like, you can see. And like I said, I'm a big stickler for visual appearance, so you can actually see what everyone looks like. You can click on them and you can see their gear. You can see what they've done, their progress. And a cool thing is every time someone in your clan finds a legendary, all the other members of the clan get that notification in the chat system. So let's say I'm playing with a buddy of mine and he finds, the grandfather, the legendary sword. I'll get a notification as soon as he loots that item that he's looted it, that he's found it. And I think that's a cool way to stay on track of, or to stay on top of, or on the same page as your friends, to see what they've acquired as you go through your adventures in Sanctuary. So that's really a cool way to do that, I think. And also, there are communities. Now you can only be a member of one clan at a time, but you can join several different communities. So I'm sure Diablo fans is going to have a community. Reddit may have a community. There may be different streamers, famous streamers that make their own communities, and that's cool because you can, as it says here, there's a members roster that you can see who's a part of that community. There is a designated chat channel, so you can just talk to people that you want to talk to instead of just talking in general chat to random people. You can actually talk to a regular community of people that you associate with. And then there's a news and info tab where stories and a community description can be posted. So that's really cool. I think with the clans and communities, we have really a solid network that's being built now in patch 2.0.1 and in Reaper of Souls likewise. So there's also cursed chests. This is nice to see that this is not only a Reaper of Souls exclusive as well. Cursed chests are scattered throughout Sanctuary, and when you find these chests, it'll trigger an event that you have to complete, and after completing that event you get a small golden experience reward, it says here, plus you have that chest transform into a radiant chest, and you obviously can loot everything out of that chest when you're finished. So it's kind of just like an additional event to kind of keep us going in the... Actually, this is not just endgame, this is leveling up and as well as endgame, besides bounties and rifts, which I'll talk about in a moment. But this cursed chest event actually comes from the original idea of Nephilim Trials, and Nephilim Trials was something that was announced at Gamescom back in the fall, and then that got scrapped. Nephilim Trials said we're not going to be making their way into Reaper of Souls. But now we actually see that the idea behind Nephilim Trials did get implemented into Reaper of Souls. It just got its name changed to Cursed Chest, so that's a really cool thing as well that's in there. The itemization updates, I already talked about that in the beginning of this video. The smart drops, the stat ranges have been narrowed. It says here previously an item may have had a roll between 1 and 200 strength. Now its range might be something like 140 to 200 strength. So they narrowed it down, meaning items have a higher chance of being better quality when you find them, as opposed to picking something up that has, like, let's say, I don't know, 60 all resist, but only 50 strength. You're not going to want that. The all resist is great, but then you have the strength that's, only 50. It's trash. So you're not going to want to have that. So that's a good thing. We now can view the stat ranges on items by pressing and holding Control while an item's tooltip is open, which means you can see how well your item is rolled. For example, if you roll something that only has 140 strength and you want to see, well, what was the max strength that I could have gotten on this item, you can hover over that item, press Control, and you can see the max value and minimum value of strength. and you'll be able to see exactly how well your item rolled. The Paragon updates we talked about, that's now account-wide and it's unlimited. There are bonuses that you can, once you apply your Paragon points to these things, you can get increase in stats or movement speed or life percent or armor, different things like that. Class updates, all the classes have been changed. They all have new skills, they all have new synergies, and we'll get into that once we get in-game. Crafting updates, we have a couple different quality of life changes here for crafting. Crafting materials have been condensed into 2 item tiers, 1 to 63 and 64 to 70. Well, we're only going to be seeing the 1 to 63 ones because we're not in Reaper of Souls yet. And those are, I'm pretty sure those are the exact same as what they've been already on live. And then the 64 to 70 crafting materials are things like Forgotten Souls, Death's Breath, and what else is it called? Salvageable, or whatever you get from breaking down or salvaging white items. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but they're all 64 to 70, I think. And then it says crafted items will now roll with stats appropriate to the character creating them, operating off of Loot 2.0's Smart Drop system. So that's good because, like they said for the example they use here, the Archon armor patterns, they're exempt from the system. Okay. So everything else besides the Archon patterns that we've had for several patches now, everything else will have that Smart Drop integration into it. So let's say I craft a pair of legendary pants. They're always going to have intelligence, or most of the time are going to have intelligence for my wizard if I craft them on my wizard. If I load up my barbarian and craft them there, then they're going to roll strength. So that's the Smart Drop system that patch 2.0 and Loot 2.0 is integrating. Now we also have the difficulty updates. The difficulty updates are completely revised. We no longer have Normal, Nightmare, Hell, and Inferno. They completely scrapped that system. It's no longer necessary to play through the entire game 4 times and the entire story 4 times just to get to the end game. We now have Normal, Hard, Expert, Master, which you can't play Master until you get to level 60, and then the Torment levels. Torment has a slider that you can increase from Torment 1 all the way up to Torment 6, and they unlock at level 70. So if you don't have Reaper of Souls, you won't be able to play in Torment, and Master will be your highest difficulty. It's as far as I can see here. And so for patch 2.0.1, the highest we'll be playing in is Master. And it says each level offers new bonuses and rewards, and you can lower your difficulty in-game. So in order to increase it, you have to exit and start a new game. But say I start at Master and decide, hey, you know what, this is a little bit too hard for me, I can just knock it down to Expert right there on the fly. And then we have several new Monster Elite affixes. This is the last thing in patch 2.0.1. The new affixes we have are Frozen Pulse, Orbiter, Poison Enchanted, Thunderstorm, and Wormhole. Now we've seen all of these in the Friends and Family beta for Reaper of Souls. Frozen Pulse is kind of like this frozen orb that sits in one spot and just pulses, and those pulses that emanate off of the frozen orb can damage you. So that's I think it's kind of easy to avoid. Maybe it won't be once we get in game and try it out, but from what I've seen, Frozen Pulse doesn't pose much of a threat. Orbiter, on the other hand, Orbiter is pretty cool. Orbiter has a lightning ball that kind of travels around in a circular pattern with lightning that shoots down off of the ground from that area. As it kind of like shoots up and down from the ball to the ground, and it circles. And you can have several of these all going at once. Some of them traveling in different circular patterns, some of them going clockwise and some counterclockwise. So it's a pretty cool thing for Orbiter. It's something that you have to avoid. We also have Poison Enchanted. Poison Enchanted is it's an effect on the ground. So you still have poison, or plague, I'm sorry, that puts a poison pool on the ground, but Poison Enchanted now, it kind of shoots a stream of poison all on the ground, and it kind of makes like a checkerboard pattern. So there's like a checkerboard poison effect that happens on the ground that really, from what I've seen so far in the Friends and Family beta of Reaper of Souls, is very, very lethal. It's very damaging. So Poison Enchanted is one of those new ones that you have to watch out for. Thunderstorm, I don't really know too much about Thunderstorm yet. We have to figure out what's going on with that. I think it just kind of rains lightning bolts from the sky, but I have to see. And then wormhole. Wormhole is the fix where a monster will, or an elite monster will put down kind of like a portal on the ground, and then he puts another portal in another spot. So two portals appear. If you step in one, it'll immediately spawn you right where the other one is located. So it's kind of like a little transport device. So those are, and it says in addition, finally, monster density has been adjusted across all acts. So those are our new changes for patch 2.0.1. A lot of new things, a lot of cool features, a lot of things I can't wait to dive into. And as we see here, I still have a bit to go until we get to the playable mark. So I'm going to wait here. I'm going to let it continue to download. This will be the end of the YouTube video that I've created for the new patch features, and I cannot wait to jump into patch 2.0.1 on the PTR and try out all the changes. So keep an eye out here on my YouTube channel for future updates on the patch 2.0.0 or 2.0.1. I'm sorry, for Diablo 3. I will be posting many videos when I find new items or discover new builds or whatever I'll end up testing. I will be sure to post them up here for you guys. So so keep an eye out for that. And I'm actually going to just take a break for a second, take a few minutes, go get something to drink, and I will be right back. But let's hope this download continues to go quickly. See you guys soon.